I'm giving him something comfortable and
bread
easy
and butter.
to play.
Absolutely, Rich. I did nail on the head there, man. I think that's exactly what you have to do with Pedro. He's #2 in the world for a reason. He was incredibly nervous last year, he told all of us, which kind of surprised all of us because of his composure on stage. He just needs to get back in that zone. So we're going to start off with a cage early on. Bomber and Gostem in response. Everything looking pretty similar thus far.
And just kind of a slow open here from these two. I'm wondering if Ta and his coach Tight were thinking the same thing, right? Did they put, and here we go, Ram Rider aggressive early.
Ooh, I don't know about those arrows.
Oh,
I don't know
boy.
about those arrows. That's a lot spent. Goblin Doctor still alive. Doesn't hit the ability again. I think that's a great idea, but a really good ability early on. Now the pressure going up. And he's got nothing on the ground. What a call by Ta, Rich. Wow, just reading him like a book.
And as soon as he saw that cage, he probably thought it's most likely. And then the Skelly Dragons, double down. Guards out of cycle. The Bomber, not the response here. Just, you're exactly right, Andrew. This was Ta reading this perfectly.
Yeah, great ability early on from Ta to get a little bit of an elixir advantage. Turns up the heat. Nice lightning there to clean up the push. This push is almost dead on the vine. We're going to see how Pedro wants to double down.
And he's back to Goblin side, and this is just from bad to worse.
Oh,
for
the lightning,
Pedro with
though.
the lightning the opposite direction.
That's a nice lightning.
A good cleaning rage, yeah.
Misses his tower, though, Rich. I don't know which one would have mattered more, but, you know, not too much damage in. 2177, 1025, Ta firmly in the lead.
Yeah, that lightning maybe just a half step late there. Could have gotten a lot more out of it, but that lightning now is going to make Ta second guess a lot of the defenses.
Yeah, I get it's tough, right? Because Pedro wanted him to use the ability to lose the elixir, but it's almost like he got too much value out of the ability already at that point. Still gets some good damage from it as he sets up another lava here. Both of them setting up their win conditions in opposite corners.
And now, what's the plan for the cage? Is there a lightning call here?
There is an Evo cage. And the lightning, that's tower down. So we're looking for a tower trade situation here from Ta, but they're at the same amount of elixir edge. This is a bit of trouble. No Goblinstein, though, going to be able to get back around. That is the interesting part of this.
Yeah, what is the move here? I think he just has to recognize that tower's down. And look, he's going for a ton of damage on the King Tower. Has to successfully defend.
Oh, man,
Two
Rich.
lavas on the board. Flying Machine still alive. This is trouble for Ta.
Rich, this is one of those rare occasions where your champion works against you, and Pedro did such a good job of not doing any damage to the Doctor so that he couldn't get his air defense back in cycle. That way Ta was just kind of left empty-handed. That's why you saw him get as much damage on the King Tower as he could. One of the rare moments where you want to leave your opponent's units on the board.
And look at this. Now the Doctor doing a good job hiding behind the King Tower, clearing up all that mess in the middle.
Big
but
push.
now another Lava Hound.
A defense with a Ram Rider, 5 elixir in the tank. I don't know about this.
And the berry hits the tower. 144 remaining. This one is back and forth.
I feel like Ta is just feeling the control of this match slip through his fingers. That P.E.K.K.A just to tank. Flying Machine can get a lot of value here. No spell to clean everything up. No units to clean everything up, Rich.
Does clear up the back end, though. So now the Electro Spirit will come out.
Lava to tank for the pops.
Oh, and it doesn't get it.
Great first match of the day.
Guards out of cycle. Now does Ta get aggressive with an Evo P.E.K.K.A?
Well, P.E.K.K.A was just, oh, well, yeah, maybe.
It's been a minute.
There it
Here we
is.
go. Evo P.E.K.K.A. Super duper aggressive.
Another cage high. Love that call. Guards are still there. Should be able to get back around to guards relatively quickly as long as he's not playing. And I like this Ram Rider a lot.
Do you rage here? You do. Arrows down. No lightning block.
The lightning.
And there you go. Pedro takes game number 1.
Wow, what a back and forth game of chess. That was absolutely brilliant from both players. Both of them saw Pedro do. And that's how
Some of the Japanese fans in the crowd. People from all over the world traveling here to Helsinki for World Finals.
really cool. Yeah, I was talking to KFC Clash about his 24 hours of travel. So shout out to you, KFC, if you're here.
24-hour-long videos and 24 hours of travel.
He was just trying to get on brand. That's really what it was. And there we go. Miner out. Love to see it early on. Ice Spirit plus Spears could still be something a little bit mortary. Who knows? Other side of it, we're looking at some bait.
And I mentioned this a lot, but I know a lot of more of our casual fans are watching here for World Finals. He saw the Princess out, knows there's no tornado.
Yep.
So his first miner, instead of going to the safe spot outside the tower, goes inside the tower. Those of you playing at home who might be a little less experienced, that's veteran gameplay. Start doing it so I don't know your miners to the same spot every time.
Yep, and if you're looking right now, you can see Pedro's very comfortable. He's got some predictive plays out there. He's playing just kind of in his element. Knight catches the Dark Goblin, perfect placement. It's not that that's hard to do. It's hard to do it when you're feeling a ton of pressure. And this could just be old school with NATO, Miner. I don't know if there'll be anything. Maybe it might just be Miner, Magic Archer, NATO with no big spell.
You have to imagine that he's running NATO in here for sure. And nice little catch with the Valk. Doesn't actually get it. Half step late. But this is a great spot for Pedro, opening a little damage in both lanes, giving himself some opportunities. And he also is sitting on that NATO, and that's the problem now that that Ta recognizes, is that NATO's an activate King Tower the second he plays a barrel.
Yep, nice play there to keep the Princess on the board, gets the Ice Spirit out front to keep it alive. And Magic Archer takes it out. There we go, a little bit of damage in for Ta, and I really love this deck pick by Pedro.
Yeah, and he's playing it to perfection so far. Getting on these towers just a little early. Ta's just a half step behind him the entire way.
He's shook, man. That's really all I think it all comes down to, is you just feel those nerves, you feel the pressure. It just takes you, your hands are shaking. Half step, millisecond longer to make the decisions you need to. And right now, Pedro, I think, can feel the momentum falling in his favor.
Princess slowly moving to the right, protects with the Valkyrie.
Yeah,
Magic
you can
Archer
see the way that he's placing his units, Rich. He's scared of that Magic Archer NATO situation.
And gonna eat a little damage here is Pedro with that choice.
Yeah, the dummy gobs end up doing a decent amount of damage, 2452 to 2441. I mean, the other side of this conversation, while we've been speaking the praises of Pedro, is that the damage can stack up a lot faster for Ta than it can for Pedro, unless he gets a great Magic Archer lineup.
Oh, and that Princess stays out of range, so forcing a little bit extra.
Yeah, wow.
And she's gonna get a shot on tower. That was a great sequence for Ta.
And another Princess right back down. Ta has been hyper aggressive with these. Now gonna get a couple Magic Archer shots in, but Pedro's just been a little bit off on taking care of those princesses, Rich.
Here we go, sudden death overtime. Fairly close, 1945 on the bottom right-hand side, 2173 top left.
And again, if you are going to play decks like this, you need to play them perfectly. You need to prove that you are top 3 in the world with decks like this if you're going to bring them out in CRL. And right now, Pedro not quite showing that. 1945, 2173.
It's going to be interesting as we get late game here if this thing is very close. The pace that Ta can put on with the barrels.
Yeah, exactly, man. I feel like the pressure late game is going to be in favor. Is there a lineup? There's a lineup. There's a lineup.
Oh,
there's the lineup.
Boy. Snowball to cover, but damage done.
And this keeps happening. He keeps trying to take out the princess with the spears, and they keep getting protected. He has to spend just a little bit more elixir. It still ends up being 3 for 3, but it's more about the attention it's pulling from you, and then maybe you need one of those cards somewhere else.
Ta starting to pull away a little bit. 18-18, bottom left-hand side. Final minute, triple elixir. This is where things get interesting. You have the NATO, the Log, and the Magic Archer. So much you can do so quickly with that situation. Here we go, exactly. Magic Archer for the Valk, the block.
Double block.
Yeah, there we go. Very nicely done. One shot will get through. 1865, still behind with 40 seconds to go.
Neither of them have a champion to take advantage of that 3-card cycle, which is something I bet both of them would love to have at the moment. Dark Goblin on top of that Magic Archer. Magic Archer does not stay alive.
And this bridge play, this back and forth that we're going to see, the cannon, great job.
I mean, you're doing exactly what you have to do. If you ever lose in one of these matchups, right there, boom, another connection. Pedro back in the lead, 3 shots in.
15 seconds left. Now Ta has no choice but to go as hard as possible. Log gets in. There is no 3-card cycle,
There's no way,
folks.
Rich.
Oh my word. The recovery, the guts. Pedro getting it done in 2, and he will stay alive at World Finals.
Ta just having a rough go of it, going 0-4 in his World Finals run. Riley, then the former world number 2 in Pedro. He just found out what CRL World Finals is all about.
And what a moment for Pedro. We know he was devastated